right. Amazing. Christian, thank you so much for being here. I'm so excited to have you on the Scrunch Influencer Marketing Show.
Yes, thank you for having me. It's been quite some time. I know that you are quite literally across the world from myself, so this is so fun. I think we might even be in different days.
Yeah. Oh my God. I think you're right. I'm on Wednesday. Are you on Tuesday?
Yeah, no, it's Tuesday night right now. So
wow. Well, I'm coming to you live from the future, and let me tell you, it's amazing.
Well, and yeah, I have nothing to say about the past, otherwise then I'm stuck here. So hopefully, we'll get on track.
We will. We'll meet in the middle somewhere. Look, let's start out. So you are the founder of Glewee, which is an influencer marketing co-founder, my apologies, co-founder of the influencer marketing platform Glewee. And I'm so stoked to have you on the show today. Why don't we just start off by telling everybody how you got here? So how did you actually get into influencer marketing and starting a company?
Okay. Yeah. Okay, cool. Huge question there. In high school, like grades, I don't know, like 9 through 12, living in Massachusetts, which is like, I don't know, kind of smaller suburban area of the United States, pretty close to New York. Like all my friends just traditionally, right when Instagram had started, we were all like, okay, Instagram's so fun. And I was like, 14, 15. And so just posting tons of stuff on Instagram. Here's Stuart Pierre, our little guest on
I'm
the show
so happy. Yes.
He's walking on my keyboard. So back in the day, we're like, wow, social media is awesome. I originally used Tumblr as like my first form of using like I don't know, HTTPS coding on a website. And I was like, wow, this is so fun. So with that in mind, I wanted to be like all the cool guys on Tumblr. Everyone like was using Instagram here and there, but Tumblr was kind of where like all of like the rap scene, fashion scene, social scene that I had looked up to was. And so I was like, okay, what's everyone doing? Everyone's on Photoshop. Everyone's making all these cool edits and stuff. So okay, I'm gonna start Photoshopping. Taught myself Photoshop in my like bedroom when I was like 14, 15. Made like these really embarrassing edits like of myself and my friends' photos of like putting us in like a Lana Del Rey album cover and I don't know, stuff I thought that was cool. And like
I love this. This is so cool.
It's a match what I looked up to. So got really good at Photoshop, brought that over to Instagram, started getting like a local following, which like kind of went to like a state level on Instagram and stuff. And they kind of like grew my following out from there. When growing like my following, I guess, a lot of my friends that were also like becoming different, just, I don't know, personalities on Instagram or YouTube and stuff. We kind of just all like gravitated towards each other. And that led us into kind of like the fashion scene, which then got us connected with a lot of kids out in New York. So we were in New York all the time, just like working with all the kids that were in like this like little bubble of fashion that had existed only on Instagram at the time, and like fit pics, like outfit pictures and all that stuff. And there was just this world of people that understood influencer marketing. Like, oh, this brand's paying us to do this. Oh, we're going to work with this brand. Oh, we're going to do this activation. Oh, I'm going to get paid this much money to do this. And it was just this world that we got thrown into. And it's like, okay, everybody understands the same language, right? You work with the brand, you post something, send them a link, you get paid. And there was these like transactions that were like way bigger than any normal job anyone could get at our age, right? With that, we were in New York and we were like just playing this game with all these people and seeing like the modeling scene, the fashion scene, the clothing brand scene, seeing it all like expand. And then everyone in New York would start going to LA, and all the LA kids would come to New York. And I was like starting to see these two worlds, right? And I'm like, okay, this is really cool because everyone in New York knows everyone in LA. So all the LA kids would come to New York, we'd hang out with them. And like we're really young at this point. And like I'd skip school on Fridays to like go to New York on like a Thursday night and like just hang out and literally do nothing all weekend except just like take pictures in the street and like hang out with people.
That's so cool.
And like obviously try to run around and like hope to run into ASAP Rocky or like one of those guys that I thought were like the coolest people ever. So the New York people and the LA people, there was a bridge. So at that point, it was like my first year at my university. We started going out to LA a lot. Like all the brands, all our friends in LA were kind of on like a different world in the influencer marketing. They were in like real influencer marketing, doing like YouTube activations and stuff. And they had like multi-millions of followers, all our friends. So I'm like, okay, I'm out in LA, meeting a bunch of kids. And like, it's just all the friend groups that I started like rolling around. Everyone has these millions of followers, but no one really had the business mindset. A few kids did, don't get me wrong. And like, I really started to watch what they were doing. So, okay, I need to study on that. Like, okay, what's working for some people? Then you start to get this tier system where some kids are just running it on their own. Other people have management. If you have management, is it independent management or is it label management? If it's label management, okay, we're hanging out with the people that manage Justin Bieber. And I'm like, okay, what's going on here? How does someone that manages like an A-list celeb, why are they working with a kid that's also 19 years old? Oh, because we have millions of followers running around. Like there was leverage to work with. So my whole friend group and I were like, okay, there's a lot to work with here. There's a lot to see. So one of my really close friends had a couple million followers and was just doing brand deal after brand deal after brand deal. One brand deal turns into the next. Then out of nowhere, my friends prop up this giant West Hollywood mansion, and they're like, "Oh yeah, the brand deals covered it, right?" And it's like, "Okay, this is so cool." So now, anytime anyone wants, we fly out to LA, hang out for a week. All we're doing is content. Everyone's just managing content, looking at content, doing content. This is before TikTok, before the TikTok houses. But there were all these houses that were popping up that you would see on YouTube. You had to be in the scene to like start to go from like party to party, your house to house, and there was this very calibrated organized scene of kids, whether it was like the FaZe Clan house or like all of these different houses that were like these little tribes, these clans of like influencer marketing teams that all worked with each other. And so we're like, okay, like we're either going to pick a team or we're going to look at this. And one of my best friends and I, Dylan Duke, he's the founder of Glewee. Like literally we go so far back. I used to go out to his house and like stay on his couch. And I was like, dude, there's so much here, right? We have to tap into this. At the same time, we were in the e-com world, dropship stuff, just building stores, creating e-com websites. I would create stores left and right because I was so good with the Photoshop and the branding. I could prop a store up, sell a couple hundred units, flip the store, get rid of it, move it on to the next thing, just pick up what trends were going on. And that would kind of like fund our lives in college. Awesome. And then right when school went online, right around the time that COVID was happening, I was in my last couple months of my university, about to graduate, COVID goes online. Dylan calls me in LA, we're chatting, and he's like, yo, like let's get this platform idea, let's get it off the ground. And so we kind of look at a map and we're like, okay, there's all of America, there's Florida, it's a really warm place. Neither of us had ever been there, but we knew some people out there. We're like, let's just go there. Let's go there. Let's figure it out. Let's see what we can do. Dylan came to me with the idea and I was just like, I'm on the next flight. And so I bought the literal next plane in the morning. So like 8 hours later, I was on a plane after the phone call ended. And we went down to Florida and we're like, all right, we're going to prop up. We're just going to live here for a bit. Like this, the COVID stuff starting. We need to be safe. We need to be smart. So yeah, we just propped up shop. We like just, I don't know, worked out of a living room. And then we had the idea, we whiteboarded it, talked it through, started to meet with devs, got a team out down here, and we kind of just hit the ground running. And that was about like, let's call it 24 months ago or so. And then it took us at least a year to get like our MVP coded, oriented, tested, ready to go, like product market, all that. And then, yeah, so we launched last summer. And it is always, and it always has been, it always will be just like our project, like our baby basically. And it's something that came from, I have the original sticky notes, and now we're at a point where like we have, I don't know, 22 employees, thousands of users, like an office with like I said, glass tables, and you know, we're doing like the, I don't know, the startup stuff you see in a movie. So yeah, it's so fun. So I know that was a loaded answer. How did what got
that is
here,
no that's amazing. It's like what I love about that is it's not like you are kind of you know, say a tech person and you just kind of saw what everyone else was doing in influencer marketing and built a platform. Like you lived it. You actually lived it. You grew up with influencer marketing. You were in the scenes. You went, okay, no, this is actually something because I've experienced it.
Yeah, we were like, okay, all we know is pain points. Or like, there's got to be something to solve it. And this was, I mean, we were, I don't know, I had just turned 22, Dylan was 21 at the time. And we were like, okay, like tech company, tech platform. It was so foreign to us. And then we're like, hold on, let's just do it. And then we started to realize like, oh, there's this world of like tech people that love making tech companies and all this stuff. Yeah. And we weren't like, we didn't have that orientation. We never wanted to be this like big whatever, right? We had no like goal in the personification sense. We were just like, we want to build a project. And then, you know, and you learn about everyone that's like, oh, I'm a founder of this, I'm a founder of that. And it's like, oh, that's cool. Do you love your project? And people are like, oh, I'm just here for the money or the exit. And we're like, all right, you know, do your thing. That's cool. We're just kind of head down focused on our stuff right now. So
that's so cool. So tell me then, what is the platform now? So what pain points do you solve? Who is it for? Like, what does the platform look like? How's it different to other platforms on the market?
Yeah, great question. So, and like the answer to this kind of relays as a segmentation to our previous answer. There's two sides of our coin, which I'm sure you know. There's the brand and the creator. On that, our apps, plural, actually work on two different like forms, right? So let's talk about creator first, then we'll go to brand. So creators have to download on iOS, Android, or on web. They can download the Glewee application and apply as a creator. So creators download and apply. We have a team that reviews and vets each creator. So we look at total follower count, typically a minimum of 10K. We kind of bump it up to like 15, 20K depending. Engagement rate, 3.5% or above. We look at professionalism overall, just generalized across platforms. We look at past brand deal experience, like their portfolio, to see that they have professionalism. And we look at just overall criteria to be a part of the Glewee community. So following generalized guidelines across social, suitability for work, all that stuff. If admitted, a creator can come into our platform, authenticate their accounts, track their real-time following metric, authenticate with Stripe, which is our payment processor, industry leading. We have a great partnership with them. So you can track your total sum of all your followers. You can see your growth over time. You can see what posts are succeeding and excelling, as well as the feed. So the general feed is like where we really are solving the pain point, which is lack of work for a creator and lack of organized structure. So a creator, based on their categorical input and based on their follower count, can scroll a feed of all the different campaigns that the brands have posted. So if you fit based on your age, based on your gender, your categories, your minimum following, you can apply for these campaigns. In app, the brands and creators chat all in one centralized location. If a brand accepts a creator, the brand goes in and assigns a post day. So let's say that you and I, you're a brand, I'm a creator. You want me to post a TikTok next Thursday. Yeah. Well, I can go to my Glewee calendar and I see that next Thursday I have a post due. So it's all integrated into one organized fashion. So I can click that. I can see that I have to submit content for approval before next Thursday. I'll create my content. Maybe I'm working with like Ferragamo, right? So I go in, like take a couple selfies. I write up my caption. Maybe it's a TikTok video. I'll do a little 15, 30-second run there. I'll pick my sound and then I'll submit that to the brand in app. The brand will then either decline and give feedback or approve it. If it's approved, then I get a notification on post day. The post goes live. Since I've authenticated my account as a creator, I grab that live link from Instagram or TikTok, wherever, and I submit it to our platform. And then Glewee does the rest, tracks all the data. It shows me the data reports and my success metrics, shows the brands. And then immediately upon that, the payment gets seen to the creator review team. And then Glewee tries to pay out within 48 hours of that. So we cut out the net 15, net 30, net 60, all that. We want instant payouts to our creators because we want people to monetize their following in real time. That's the creator side. Brand side, huge issue is search and discovery and authenticity. So there are an array of the big boy platforms out there, some with some immense level of funding in the US markets that are big databases. So they'll tell you that they have 10, 20, 50 million influencers on there, and it costs thousands of dollars per month. And then brand users can go on and fiddle around and export CSV lists of emails. Well, now in that scenario of a database, the brand user, whether it's a social media marketer, a marketing manager, CMO, anyone in the marketing or ad department, that individual is now stuck with more work to do because now they have to go back to square one and email, DM, whatever, reach out to that influencer. So search and discovery, finding the right fit creator, we solve that because we allow for brands to set their parameters and launch campaigns, and creators opt in. They say, hey, I want to be a part of this. I want to be your next brand advocate. I want to be a part of your brand and your digital footprint on TikTok, on Instagram, on YouTube, on Twitter, on Twitch, etc. So search and discovery is covered. Payment processing is covered. Data tracking is all covered. So any brand member can come in and see whether it's last 2 weeks, last month, Q1, Q2, Q3, year to date, any time frame. We can see the total data metrics being tracked across platform. We can sum it all. We can break it down per platform. We see data distributions, as well as be able to track all the content. So if a brand wants to own the content in perpetuity in like a UGC sense, they can do so. So they can work with a creator to license it in perpetuity, and then the brand has that in their asset library on our platform. So we act as like one big mainframe for anything and everything influencer marketing and creator marketing on the brand side. And the creator side, we're solving the biggest pain point of it all. We want more work. We want to monetize and we want to make this our full-time gig. So we do, and we are a like by creators for creators platform. And that in a sense, that essence is what really sets it apart. Because we knew like there, you know, you look at the influencer space, especially in the US, it's like there are no apps. Everyone's manager is doing something on a platform, on a computer. So the creator never has the power. The power is it's distance from the creator when the creator is the real organism in the cycle, right? Like the creator is what's bringing things forward. And so to give the power back to the creator, that's everything for us. And we're not some like, oh, we're anti-societal, like we're anti, the talent agents and stuff. The talent agents are great. We also have a platform for them too. So we try to encompass any and every user base and just solve pain points just around the board for them. But to answer the main differentiator factor, it's the app, it's the lingo, it's the experience, and it's our openness. So we do creator focus groups every single week. We do brand focus groups bi-weekly. So we're constantly talking to users and identifying what do people want, right? We have a team, we have a roadmap, we have a 24-month runway at this point in time. So we're building what the industry wants and needs, and we're having so much fun along the way.
That's so cool. And I mean, look, to be able to bring that to life in 12 to 24 months is absolutely incredible. I know having built a tech platform in the past, that is unheard of. That's crazy good. And I'm wondering, so have there been any challenges for you along the way? Was there anything as you were building the platform, as you were talking to brands, talking to creators, anything that kind of surprised you that they were looking for, or any challenges that came up that you're like, wow, we didn't really expect to see that in this industry?
Yeah, of course. There's challenges every day. There was the big challenge on the board was the chicken and the egg. Jokingly, like I feel like I sit at my desk every day and all that comes at me are fireballs, and they're like all like mini challenges.
Yeah.
So I'll catch this one, solve it. Catch this one, solve it. Delegate this one off, and then we all day long just solve problems. But a big challenge was the chicken and the egg to begin. So we always asked ourselves, well, what's going to come first? An army of creators or a plethora of brands? And the answer was the creators. And that was, it was a natural feel. We didn't want to push our marketing towards a direction. We wanted to be open. We wanted to be 50% push to brands, 50% to creators, and just get industry insight. And it was a no-brainer. I mean, we did it ourselves, right? We just marketed organically at first, and we started to push in what felt like an organic sense. So like, it's a no-brainer that what works well for us is when we launch a campaign on Glewee, saying we want Glewee creators to post on TikTok about being a Glewee creator. We pay them through Glewee. Like that's, of course we do that, right? Like, so our biggest challenge
it's like you believe in influencer marketing so much that you use it for your own business. It makes perfect sense.
Get this, I yanked, we pulled our entire Facebook, Instagram ad spend out. So we are removing our paid spend on Facebook, Instagram, because we put our data reports out, and our KPI metrics that we track actually 6x. And I sound like I'm trying to sell you something here. They 6x.
No, I love it.
on our new user download and application, as well as accepted qualified users. That's a very, very heavy stat that we track internally. So that 6x grew when we put our money into Glewee away from Facebook, Instagram. And we were like, of course it did.
Yeah.
Why wouldn't it, right? Like,
exactly. You know this. Yeah, it's so good.
Right. So that was a challenge in itself. Now we have thousands of users. Now brands can quite literally connect with like tens to hundreds of users in real time, like instantaneously, which is awesome. Another problem we're still solving is the brand side. So we have tons of SMB brands on the platform utilizing the SaaS aspect. We have enterprise brands that are coming to us for our done for you models. We're just navigating the space, finding our product market fit, and really like hammering that home as best as we can. And that's the most fun project in itself, is like finding our home, because we know our champions, and we know our competitors, and we know all the swim lanes that exist. We know all the tech platforms that are the big boys and the kings. Where do we fit in that? Who do we want to be like? Who do we want to act like? Do we want to put ourselves on an island? If so, we certainly need to build a castle on the island and make sure people are coming and we have a moat around the island, right? If we want to be like everybody else, well, maybe, that's what we need to do. We need to start talking like Shopify, so that when it comes time for that Shopify integration plugin, it's like, oh yeah, of course, Shopify's cool with the guys. Like, look, they kind of talk and act like you guys. So product market fit's a big one. Users. Funding was obviously very, very fun. I have a great quote. It's that people, I didn't make this quote. I think you may know who did, but like, people don't want to invest in just anything. People like, I read this, people want to invest in people that know their shit. So it's something that I truthfully believe in. And, we went out, we talked to an array of different funds and partners and people like that. And we found a team that really fit for us. And,
amazing.
We were, blessed with the opportunity to continue our ventures in such an amazing, expansive way. So that was a hill that we climbed rigorously. got to the top of, stuck our little Glewee flagpole on the top of
Congratulations.
the
I
hill.
know that's not easy.
Thank you. Yes, thank you very much. And then, yeah, there's just beyond, those are the big ones. Right now that we have a lot of that settled, it's more focused on expanding, right? What are we going to do in the next 2 years? Where do we want to be? Who do we want to be? How do we want to act? Where do we want to be placed? What amazing partnerships can we launch? And how can we work with, amazing brands? I still every single day find myself talking to brands and organizations, even at the enterprise level, that like, if you look at like university me, you would ask me like, oh, what companies do you want to work for? And I'd say all these big brands or agencies or platforms. And like now they're coming to us for projects and stuff. And it's like, I don't know, it's just amazing.
That's awesome.
We have an army of people ready to go and we have data to back it. And we are so passionate about the space and the project itself that we have some amazing data companies being like, hey, we'd love to work with you guys because you guys have the answers. So I don't know.
Yes.
It's a blessing all the time to be able to say we've overcome that initial getting off the ground. And now it feels like, we're doing one of these. We're still going up and up and up. And then we're trying to get to a spot that we can just coast. And from there we'll be rock and rolling.
I love it. I love it. Well, so, I mean, speaking of brands and, knowing how many creators you've seen, how many campaigns you've seen, all of the different types of things that you've done, I'm really interested to know. So if I was a new brand coming to you, maybe I'd done influencer marketing before and it hadn't gone so well, and, want a bit of advice on how to approach a campaign or how to approach my influencer program. Do you have any advice for brands?
Yeah, funny enough. So like, that is what, if I could do one thing all day long, it would be that. It would be like, almost like, I don't like
You're
like
the strategist.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't like the word audit, but it's just like a word that I've learned. People are like, oh, you're kind of auditing. I'm like, no, I'm not auditing. I'm just looking. So, and we get this question a lot. So a lot of brands, even big brands, right, will come to us, and the big question on the board, I swear everyone writes it across like a wall. It's the TikTok logo and then a question mark. And there's only a few, only a select few that have it mastered and they can wipe it off the wall. Everyone else has a question mark and everyone's trying to play the TikTok game. And I think that right now, as the highest top of funnel form of marketing, that's where it needs to begin. It's it's looking at your TikTok strategy. So let's say we're a new brand. For the sake of the example, let's say we can use these sunglasses. We're like a sunglass brand, right? So direct to consumer, very easily placeable with influencer marketing, right? Like very, very easy to do. So first we need to look at like, who are we as a brand, right? What's our tone? What's our identity? We need to look at what's worked in the past. We need to look at the messaging and positioning. We first need to go and look at like the traditionals, the Instagram, the YouTube, the Twitter, right? Like Instagram's going to be your champion there. We're going to see like, okay, are you a high level fashion brand? Or are you maybe like a $30 to $40 sunglass brand that your everyday consumer can have? Let's say that that's the case. So now we know that we're in a price point that's really going to convert on TikTok. So we need to go back to Instagram and say, okay, look, fun outdoor pictures of people wearing the sunglasses, UGC, like creators making content or like people that tag the brand. When we repost that does really well. But traditional product shots don't do well. So at least we know, okay, the followers and people want to engage with the brand when the brand's more relatable. So now we need to be relatable across TikTok. TikTok gives you the ability to step out of the photo and actually give life to it on video in that short form video sense. So now it's like, okay, we need to position this correctly. So now let's get the product. Let's use, like if you were to come with us and say, let's set out a budget. Let's work with 25 creators. Let's say we'll do 13 male, 12 female, or just like evenly split down the middle, however we want to like play the cards. And let's just test what works. Let's get everyone 1 to 2 pair of shades. And then what we can do is let's just do a generalized campaign. So let's say all the creators that are unique in their own way, that have garnished a following of, let's call it 25K minimum plus, they've all done it for a reason. They all have their unique value prop as a creator. So let's just get them the product. Let's say that they have to be outside. It's a sunglass brand. No one wants to see a photo, like a video inside. It's just like a no-brainer. Let's have them go outside and let's have them be themselves. What we could do is then license that content through a platform like Glewee. And then from there, we will have that content that'll be posted by the creators. So the creators are the top of funnel now. So the creators are top of funnel, showing their followers that brand awareness of this brand. Now there's a relatable factor because everyone's like, oh yeah, so and so wears that, so and so wears that. Oh, I saw so and so wearing that. So let's get the brand awareness out top of funnel, and then let's take the content and let's put it back. So we're going to recycle the content onto like said sunglass brand's page. So now we have not one, not two, not five, not even 10. We have 25 unique, let's call them like characters, creators, whatever you want to say in the storyboard. We have them to splash across the page. So now you look at the TikTok page of the sunglass brand, right? And now there's 25 people, all diverse and unique in their own way, all pertaining to various niches and categorical backgrounds, so that the everyday consumer of the sunglass brand, the ICP, the buyer, right, when they come to that TikTok page, they have someone to relate to.
Yeah.
Because we splashed 25 people on there. Someone's going to relate to somebody. And that I think is your great foundation. And then once you have that foundation, let's look at the stats and say, okay, of the 25, let's say you post every video at 2 p.m. once a day, right? So 25 days of posting, content calendar. Let's see what videos do well, which ones get the most comments and shares, obviously which ones get the highest impressions. Let's back it up and see who drove the most followers. Let's work with them again. And let's start to create brand ambassadors that are going to be repetitive faces on the brand account. And then from there, you have a storyline, and it looks like you set out and you found this crazy team of 25 actors and creators and went on this like multi-international, I don't know, video shoot in Bali and did all this stuff, when realistically the social media marketing manager just kind of pressed a few buttons, launched a campaign, worked with some people, shipped them a product, and then the stuff is all posted. So it's perception. It's all like,
well, that's brand, right? Like that is how to build an awesome brand 101.
Right. It's like, and at the same time, it's relatability. I think a lot of times brands struggle with that. And you have to put yourself, there's empathy involved in anything business oriented. Anything in life, there's empathy involved. And you have to think like, what do my users or my like end consumer, the people you're marketing to, what do they want? What do they need? How do they talk? Where do they eat? How much do they spend? Do they take the train to work? Do they drive? Right? You have to know your consumer and your ideal customer profile, like the back of your hand, and then think, what do they want to see? And then it's up to you as a brand to like fulfill that with content. And if you, who as a marketing manager, you want to sit behind your computer and you want to run the show, well, you need people you need people to facilitate that running of the show. So instead of hiring all these people, why don't you use a platform to connect with creators to do it for you? It's like a vehicle. It's a new channel. It's, I don't know, it's an endless amount of different opportunities to hit virality on the For You page. And it's a way to build a foundation of relatability for a brand.
Yeah, I love that. And, you mentioned TikTok and everyone's trying to play the TikTok game. Do you think that is the biggest trend in influencer marketing right now? Like, what are you seeing? Is it TikTok? Is it just video in general? Like, what do you think the thing is at the moment?
Yeah, overall, it's TikTok. Like that's a no-brainer. Everybody's talking about it. And what's so fun is that for a while, it was like, okay, TikTok's blowing up. Then it's like, okay, TikTok's huge. And then it's like, okay, it's a monster. And then it was like, okay, no, it over. And then there was a tipping point where it overthrew Instagram. And then it became normalized that it was just TikTok. Now you talk to people and you're like, IG Reels. Instagram just gave out that report that 20% of their users are utilizing Reels. So they want that to be 100% because they want to compete, but they're only at a 1/5 mark. And TikTok, I mean, that's a multi-billion-dollar algorithm. Yeah, it's everything. I mean, it is the content consumption vortex. It is a way that like this algorithm, and what's so fascinating about it is that, going back to like my original answer of like how we got into this space, let's say that it's 2016 and everyone's on Instagram and you have, let's call it like 50,000 followers, and you post a photo, it's only going to go to 50,000 people at its core, right? The max you're going to get on impression counts or engagement, the max impression you're going to get is that core 50,000. Maybe some people are going to share it, right? Let's call it like 0.005% are going to share it, or 0.5% depending on your content. So now we're up to like 51,000 maybe, if you're lucky. And then for the grace of who knows what type of algorithm, you could land on the explore page if you were one of the very few luckies, and then you can get a little more exposure. But no matter what, you're locked into your bucket of followers. You're locked into your little room of an audience of people. Like everyone has their own auditorium, and no one can enter unless they like follow and like sign up to enter. Whereas TikTok, you can you can be talking into like a black hole. You can have no posts and you hit that algorithm. Next thing you know, you have 20 mil impressions and 100,000 eyeballs on you, and then you just keep up, right? And now you're a creator in one day. Like now, someone that goes viral right away, we can tell based off like our algorithm sourcing that like, okay, if someone did 1.3 million yesterday and this is their first big hit, well, we know that their next video is going to do at least 600K because they're on like trend. So then it's like, okay, for us, we should look at that and be like, okay, there's a music label, right? And a music label wants to input a sound into something. Well, that was the right time. And like, you can do this overnight. You can have a viral video, you can get on a platform, you can expose out there, and you can work with a brand like within days. Whereas like back in the day, when it was just Instagram, people would be like, oh, very judgmental, like, oh, I know what your Instagram is, like, oh, you're in this bucket, like, oh, you're that type of influencer. And it's like TikTok allowed for like the lack of the Facetune and the lack of like the editing of the photos. It just made it so real, where it's like, no, this is real time, real stuff. It's your personality. It's you as a person or as a creator. And everyone had a stage in their own auditorium with like the world as your audience rather than like the four walls of your following. So I think that in its sense, TikTok, it's stardom and like king level.
Yeah, and I love how you said before relatability, like, so giving brands the ability to access that is super cool.
Yeah, I mean, it's, you know, it's the wild, wild west. No one knows what's really going on, and no one will for a while. And I mean, even if you just like look on LinkedIn or anything, you type in like hashtag TikTok or hashtag UGC, it's like, oh my gosh,
Everyone's
are like
losing their mind.
100. I once posted like about you because we get a lot of like UGC requests. So like brands come on, get user generated content for their paid ads on TikTok through Glewee. And so I posted about it one day. I was like, hey, like we offer this. I had like 60 people in my inbox. Like, how do I do it? How do I do it? And I was like, whoa, okay. I mean, there's, you know, we're working on like a new type of campaign in the coming months where it's a UGC campaign. We'll test the waters on it, but like everybody's talking about it, from the brand side to the marketers to the ad spend up to the CMO level. Nobody can get away from the TikTok question anymore, and I don't think anyone's going to get away from it for a long time. So I think everyone just needs to embrace it, and they need to put their TikTok boots on and try out the feed. I mean, it's frightening, it's horrifying. You know, we make
but
videos
I think
and they
like
flop.
You need to experiment though, right? Like there's only one way to figure it out, and that's just to get amongst it and find out what's working and what's not working and do more of the stuff that's working.
Yep. Yeah. And like what's so fun is that there's no how-to manual. Someone can tell you there is, I'm sure there's
an ebook for that.
And I'm sure it's gated, and I'm sure that they're going to try to sell me something after I put in my email on it because it's in their HubSpot CRM. But I mean, there's nothing. Right in the beginning, when we first started this, we were all like hanging out by a friend of ours' pool, and we were like, I was like, hey, run across the pool on like these little floaty things, right? And I was like, I'm gonna film you. We're gonna put it on TikTok, and it's gonna blow up. Everyone's like, no, it's not. And I was like, yeah, it is. And this was like right when pandemic started, so TikTok was still like seemingly a little kind of like, oh, you're on TikTok, like, and I was like, yeah,
whatever.
Come on, guys. Yeah. And so I posted, and I'm like, trust me. I'm like, all my friends, I'm like, trust me, watch, it's gonna hit. And that night we were playing Xbox, and I like looked down, and my phone's going crazy. And I'm like, I show everyone, I'm like, ha ha ha, it's not gonna blow up. We did like, I don't know, like couple mil views in like a couple days. We were on like Good Morning America and all this stuff, like on the news. It was like people doing fun stuff in the pandemic. But I was just like looking at it, like millions of people watching the video. And that was my first time that I saw like the paradigm shift, where I was like, you know how hard this would have been on Instagram to get 5 million impressions, in with like 20, 30, 40K followers. It's like, it would be, that battle in itself is too uphill to even like think about. Whereas like, boom, just like that on TikTok. So that's why it is the brand awareness machine. It is where every brand can set forth like a new frontier, because they can test anything that once didn't like rely in their like brand book. They can test it all, and whatever works, sell products in that category and let it work, right? Even if you have an older demographic and you have a product that pertains to a lot of people, test out TikTok, test millennial, test Gen Z, see if it sticks. And if it sticks, you know, why do we have to, you know, brands don't need to box themselves in anymore. I think that even the pandemic has shown that like social media in a sense has made people so open to so many things that even brands are open to like experimenting, which back in the day, and I might be too young to even make this claim, but based on my research, people didn't like to experiment years ago. They like to invest
This is
in
true.
work.
I can tell you.
No one at any Edelman or Havas or any of the major agencies I always used to look up to, no one wanted to test new verticals or horizons. They just wanted to put money where it resulted. So I think that now everyone has the opportunity.
The hilarious part of that is the testing, the new, the experimenting used to just be social media. So it used to be Facebook and Twitter and then Instagram. Like that was, oh my God, this is so outrageous. It's so new. And now like that's past. Like if you don't have a handle on that, you are dying. But it's like influencers, creators, they are the new. TikTok is the new. So it's kind of like this is the new world of experimentation. But I'm like, I think people just need to get used to the fact that there's going to be something new every couple of years. And if you're not ahead of the game, you're not going to win. I mean, I love the idea of user generated content like you were talking about, because there's some cool brands where you look at them and you're like, wow, all of their customers post about them. How do they do it? And they blow up. And it's like, you can do that now. You can just tap into influencers and create that for yourself. Like you don't have to figure out how to get all of your customers to be your content creators. You've got a whole pool of them that are like right there that you can tap into.
Yeah, and it's fun because like you don't need to, like you said, you don't need to rely on the current customer, because like chances are some of your customers don't want to be on camera, and they don't need to be. You don't need
exactly.
to like you don't need to ask these like charitable favors of your customers to like go out and record themselves doing a testimonial. Of course, if they're like, your ride or die people, then that's like a different story. But yeah, like if you want 50 people to talk about your product, it's going to be a lot easier just to deploy a team through a platform like ours or anything else. Like we're just going out and finding people, creators. It's just it's just better that way. So I don't know. I think that like it's just so fun because there's so much to do. And I know, and this is something that we look forward to in the future, but like programmatic ad buying is so huge. Everyone wants to buy into a DSP and like put a banner ad somewhere, and they want to tell their manager, hey, we spent this much, and the banner ads are on everything. So we know that influencer marketing is in the future going to take a shift towards a programmatic sense, where brands are putting in money and the right fit creators are just picking up on those campaigns and running them kind of in the background. I see influencer marketing just expanding in so many different ways that it is going to be the new. I mean, like, look at how much money goes into Instagram for paid ads. So like it is, those reports are like, I'm in awe at the stats, right? Or meta into meta, right? But like, if you think about it, everyone just skips them. So it's the same thing as like when people have an ad blocker. Okay, why is a brand, am I paying to throw stuff in like a YouTube video when everyone has an ad blocker or a VPN? Okay, well, if that's the problem, then how do we solve it? We put content in the real feed. We put content in front of people so that they actually can't get away from it. If you want to be a part of a creator's life and you want to consume content a creator's making, you're going to hear the points of injection where a brand deal has earned its right to be in there. And I think that's the best way to like position a brand organically and seemingly authentically, is just in a natural sense. Like when a brand finds a creator that they mesh with, and if we set that up and we see a long-term deal go, we are so happy, because that's like our mission statement at its core is to cultivate authentic relationships in real time through technology. So if we can,
I love that,
create a relationship that's like long-term and ongoing, I mean, that's why we're here. And that is influencer and creator marketing at its core, is that happening.
That's so good. You have been amazing. Thank you so much for spending your time with the Scrunch community. Just reflecting on that conversation, I'm like, oh my God, I need to be on TikTok. I need to up our influencer game. Like, you've given me a lot of inspiration. So I know anybody watching would have gotten value as well. So appreciate you so much. Thank you for spending your evening with us. And we'll link up everything as well so people can find you and jump in and check you guys out as well.
Yes, and in the future, one day, I will love to help in any way we can with the Scrunch Award. I think it's fantastic. Congrats that you guys are doing that. It's so amazing. I checked out the deck and everything. I'm so excited to see more about that, and hopefully be on a panel one day.
Absolutely.
And like you said, I mean, you're in the future, I'm in the past, you're Wednesday, I'm in Tuesday, you're in Australia, I'm in America. This has been so fun that we can connect quite literally across the world. And,
Yes.
this is the power. Look at it at its core, right? How did we meet? Social
Mm,
media, you and I.
exactly.
So look at that. Cultivating authentic
Bringing
relationships in
people
real
together.
time.
I love
Oh,
it. That's
man.
so cool. That's such a cool mission
Yeah.
statement. I absolutely love that.
Yeah, kudos. Dylan Duke, CEO. That was his.
Knows what he's
He
doing.
said
Yeah.
that. Dylan wrote it on the whiteboard, and we said, "That's it. That's cash. That's
Oh,
a
yeah.
statement.
Yeah.
That's what we're here to do." So, yeah.
Incredible.
From here on out, we will continue to be having fun, building platforms, and watching everybody in the space grow.